the hell was that?
This is going to take forever. So, chemical intervention.
Hello and welcome. Recently I was speaking with a good friend of mine and he was informing me that he was considering selling one of his prized possessions, his 1988 Mark III Toyota Supra Turbo. He's owned this car for years and it only has 69,000 miles on it. Unfortunately, due to a timing belt failure, he had to replace the engine once already. Other than that, the car is pretty original. Due to the fact that I already have too many cars as it is, and I don't have room for another project, I told him I would go ahead, fix it up a little bit, and help him sell it. So in this video, we're going to take it for a spin, see what it needs, see how it feels, get it back to the headquarters, and show it some love. As you can see, this side is pretty clean. It does have the targa top. There's some fade in the clear, some lines you can see, and it's got a little bit of bubbling right here. The underside also does have a somewhat decent amount of surface rust. It is a Michigan car, and on this side, unfortunately, the car has been side swiped lightly, so there is some damage to it. Still has the original wheels, as you can see. You have some damage to the fender here. A little bit of damage to the door as well. You have scuffs all the way down the door. And the quarter panel here, there's some damage as well. The door does close pretty flush, so it's not terrible. And then there's some damage here as well with some bubbling. So it's definitely going to need some body work. All right. It is ice cold. Okay. There's your cluster instrument panel. It is a manual. Has the adjustable suspension, your lumbar support, power mirror. Love that radio. I mean, look at that. Push the clutch in, neutral, and it's fired up. A little bit of smoke coming out the tailpipe. Once it's running, it seems to be running pretty smoothly. Let's let it warm up before we take it for a spin. Okay, she's warmed up now. Yeah, I know, it's not big guy friendly. So let's take it for a spin. I've got an ABS light and a brake light. Okay, but I can see them working. I can see the reflection. It's probably the center one. It's got a bit of a drivetrain vibration, and it's always had that even before we put the engine in here. I remember. I'm wondering if the flywheel is off a little bit, off balance. Oh yeah, gives you a good massage. And it's smoking a little bit. Needs to be driven.
sure. Ooh. What the hell was that? Sounded like some water back there. Okay, it's not smoking anymore, so it's possibly from it sitting. Oh my god, that's a lot of water.
So far, other than the smoke upon startup, the sloshing water in the trunk, and the vibration, it drives pretty good.
I have no idea where that water is, but it sounds like a fish tank back there. I'll pull over in a bit and I'll take a look at it.
As you saw earlier, it's got good power, the boost comes on nice and strong, but if you listen carefully, you can hear the water sloshing around in the back. I definitely have to fix that.
Oh, that water sloshing around back there. Friggin' hilarious.
I got the car back to HQ, cleaned out the garage to make room for it so I could work on it inside, opened the hatch, and noticed that the spare tire well was completely filled with water. I went ahead and pumped out what I could first, then I removed the tire, removed the drain plugs, let all the water come out, then I went ahead and tested it and found that water was coming in from around the seal of the hatch and also from around the tail lights, meaning I'd have to pull them, clean them, and reseal them.
Okay, so this will hold just in time for me to get a new seal. Until then, this needs to get cleaned up. Let me see if I got a brush so I can scrub a little bit before I wipe it down. Where the hell is my brush? Wow, it's right behind me the entire time.
If you listen carefully every so often, you'll hear an airplane fly overhead. The perks of living close to the airport. One thing I've noticed for sure is that the Mark III Supra is starting to get more love nowadays, probably because the Mark IV Supras are so bloody expensive. The Mark III Supra is a pretty decent car, but you can tell it's definitely a child of the 80s, which to some makes it even more appealing. This car in particular definitely has a lot of potential for the right buyer to become something really, really nice.
So that's definitely better. It's clean. It's not perfect because the water was there for some time, probably a few weeks. And if I wouldn't have taken it, probably nobody would have noticed. I'm going to put the fan on it, let it air dry, and then we'll start on the side and see what we can do. Oh wow, this wheel took a hit as well. The alignment doesn't seem to be off, but yeah, this wheel took a hit. This guy, I don't know what the heck, is it tire or? Uh-oh, yeah, that's not good. This definitely needs to be worked on. So, let's start buffing. I'm not expecting the greatest results. To be honest, but I want to give it a shot. Okay, so that pretty much did nothing. So I'm going to need a different compound than the other machine. Let's try this, see how this does. Got some of it out. to take forever. So, chemical intervention. Full disclosure, if you're going to use some kind of chemical stripper, be very, very, very careful. Because remember, there's paint on the car as well. Yeah, that worked quick.
If you notice, immediately after using the paint stripper, I'm wiping it down with a wet cloth and pouring water on it to make sure the paint doesn't get damaged.
Now, just a friendly reminder, this is just to make it look a little bit better until I sell it, until it goes into the body shop. There you go. Looks better than it did a few moments ago.
Here you can see I'm just applying a little bit of touch-up paint to make it look a little bit better. Unfortunately, I didn't have the camera pointed towards the front fender that I pulled with my bare hands.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I just filmed a whole bunch of work off camera. Some pretty impressive shit too. That fender bent back in when I opened the door, when I installed the molding, and I just had to pull the fender out by hand. Oh, you guys missed out. But I can't find one of these, and only one clip is here. The other one rusted off. So I've got some double-sided Gorilla Tape. I'm going to line it, I'm going to clean it, line it, stick it, hope it stays. First, I'm just going to remove the old tape, and then I'm going to clean all this off, put the Gorilla Tape around and across the middle here, and see how it does. Okay, got it all cleaned up, lined up with the double-sided Gorilla Tape, and we're going to give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. There, that's better. Find a hole. Okay, line that up. Oh, now it bent the door. Again, these are not permanent fixes. These are just so it's drivable and presentable. Whoever buys this is going to need to take it to the body shop. It's probably going to need a fender. They might be able to save the door. Screwdriver, electric tape, so you don't scratch it too badly. Yeah, I'm going to put this between the molding . Voila! So that's odd. I just checked and it looks like all the brake lights are working. Let's try that again. This time with the running lights on.
After my work was done, the car definitely looked a lot better than it did after it was sideswiped. It's not perfect, but it's definitely serviceable until whoever buys the car decides what they're going to do with it. If you know anybody who may be interested in a Mark III Supra Turbo, please reach out to me. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.